I have a second channel, Cube Compium TDX.
Hey everybody. I'm sure many of you guys know, especially if you live in an area served by Time Warner Cable or Bright House Networks, Charter bought out Time Warner Cable and Bright House back in, 2015? Yeah, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. It's been a little while, but they say that when these two companies, Charter and Time Warner Cable, went to merge, that they said it was to help lower prices and offer more for the consumer. Well, yeah, that's what they say. Since Spectrum was formed by the merger of Time Warner Cable and Charter, it's just been a real freaking mess. I would say that. Now, Time Warner Cable, Time Warner Cable was not exactly a very well liked company, especially if you're a consumer with them. But I will say that in Time Warner Cable's later years, they got a bit more reasonable. Time Warner Cable was always, at least in my opinion, in my experience, they were always willing to work with the customer to offer a decent deal to keep you as a customer. Spectrum, I'll forget it. I'll be talking about that in this video. But so let's start out with the internet service. Since Charter purchased Time Warner Cable and Bright House and formed Spectrum, for like about the first year or so, throughout 2016, Time Warner Cable still operated as Time Warner Cable in this area, and the plans were practically the same as before. Back in 2015, Time Warner Cable, at least in the Charlotte metro area, upgraded services to what's called TWC Max, to where the seriously outdated internet speeds got beefed up for no extra cost. For the longest time, my parents, this is back when I was living with my parents, they were on the, I think it was the 15 megabit down, 1 megabit up speed. Yeah, the upload was always freaking terrible with Time Warner, in my opinion, up until the upgrades. But even after the upgrades, it still wasn't exactly great compared to some other providers. So back then, I was paying their bill, and I decided, okay, we need better internet speeds. Because I tell you, uploading to YouTube on 1 megabit per second was just flat out awful. It's something that I would just have it do overnight, and it would take hours to upload videos. We're talking back then 720p videos. So Time Warner Cable offered us a deal to where we could get TV and internet, the standard preferred TV package, as well as I think it was 20 megabits down and 5 up for a reasonable price. So I said, okay, let's go for it. And this was also, I think, not too long after, I can't remember exactly what year my parents dropped their home phone in favor of MagicJack, but they used to have all three services through them, and they dropped the home phone and switched to MagicJack. And I think after this, after the changes, I think we're paying about roughly $100 a month, probably. The TV service was always the most expensive part of it. So we upgraded their internet to the 20, I think it's 20 megabits down, 5 up. Well, not too long after that, Time Warner Cable rolled out the newer speed, so our speed was upgraded to 200 down, 20 up, which was fantastic compared to what we had before. Now, Time Warner Cable, there's one thing about Time Warner Cable I could not stand that Spectrum got rid of, and that's a good thing, I'm glad they did it, was Time Warner Cable would charge you a modem lease fee. And I think it was $5.99 or $8.99, I think, before they finally stopped it. But so if you want to sign up for Time Warner Cable Internet and you want to lease your modem instead of buying your own, you had to pay a lease fee per month. Spectrum got rid of that. So now I think you still may have to pay for Wi-Fi service. Yeah, pay for Wi-Fi service. But other than that, I didn't really have much to complain about Time Warner's internet, because Time Warner Cable, in their final years here with the TWC Max service, the internet speed ranged from the options available ranged from the basic, I think, 3 megs down, or I can't remember, it was 3 megs or 15 megs down. It was a basic end speed for $14.99 per month, and it was aimed at those on a budget who just wanted service where they could check their email and do basic browsing, but not spend not spend an arm and a leg on the service. Now, if I remember correctly, I was paying, I think, $34.99 per month for the internet portion, including the 200 megabits upgrade. And it was a good deal. And that's the thing. Time Warner Cable, they anytime your bill was scheduled to go up after a year or two, they said, just give us a call and we'll see what options we have available to get you a better deal. And they always would give me a decent deal. They'll give new customer deals to existing people as saying, as sort of a thank you for being a customer. And that was one of the things about Time Warner Cable I liked, is they would flex to keep you as a customer. Spectrum, forget it. No, they don't do that, from my understanding. So, yeah, Time Warner Cable's internet during the final years here was decent. It was not the greatest, but it was decent. And of course they offered a wide variety of speed options for ranging from the average internet user who may not need to download a whole bunch of stuff to the streaming person who downloads a lot of stuff. And even back then, during Time Warner's later years, you didn't have to have a contract. Now, back before 2010, at least the plan my parents were on, they had to sign a contract. It was called the Price Lock Guarantee. And I'm glad Time Warner got rid of that. No contracts needed. And good thing about Spectrum is no contracts needed, at least for the I know for residential service, and I think the business service as well. But the scope of this video is really going to be about residential service, not business. But so yeah, the Time Warner Cable internet, it was great. It was decent enough. The home phone. Now, of course, as some of you know, I use MagiJack. I have no use for home phone services provided through the cable company because I find them to be more expensive. Maybe not at first, but after the first year or two, when the bill goes up on that telephone service, it's a ripoff. It's like Vonage. I don't care for Vonage. I used to call them Cottage. And of course, their Basic Talk service, which is again, they own Basic Talk. I don't care for that either. I've been a MagiJack user for almost 10 years now. But I do understand that Time Warner Cable, before Spectrum took over, or Charter bought them out and took over, Time Warner Cable's home phone international it seemed pretty decent. I mean, if you made a lot of international calls, it would probably be a good deal for you. Because the rates they were offering, I don't think are all that bad. Now, I can't remember exactly what those rates were, but I remember when Spectrum took over in 2017, I think it was. It might have been 2018. It was around the time. It was at one point Spectrum actually took over. Everything was named Spectrum after that point. I think after that point, the home phone service that they offered was U.S. and Canada, and they call it voice service, like some other providers call it. So I can't really say much about the telephone service. I know some people who actually did bundle up with it, but I will say this. And this is one thing I can't stand about Time Warner Cable's home phone, and I'm sure it's the same with Spectrum. My parents, for several years, used Time Warner Cable's home phone service. Their phone, I swear it sounds like you're in a call center. And at least back then when they were with Time Warner Cable's home phone, that phone would just ring off the hook. Robocalls, telemarketers, you name it. And yes, they were on the do not call list. But they got calls left and right. It was annoying as crap. I mean, that phone would ring off the hook throughout the day. It sounded like you're in the call center. The phone was always ringing off the hook. And one thing about Time Warner Cable is it seemed that they sold your phone number out to companies to call you offer you stuff. And my phone number is actually a MagiJack phone number. I did not transfer my number in from a different company. I started that number with MagiJack, and MagiJack typically does not list your phone number in a directory. Now I will say this: companies like White Pages, and I'm not talking about the real White Pages from back in the day. I'm talking about the site whitepages.com and others like it. They crawl out they crawl databases and whatnot, and they get phone numbers. And several times, I don't know how, but they've listed my home phone number in their directory under my dad's name and my dad's address. Or no, and one actually as my parents, my dad's name and their address, and then one time they listed as my dad's name and my address. So the phone number still gets listed like that sometimes, and I have actually received a couple of calls intended from my dad, and that's why I got in touch with White Pages to say enough is enough. Get this crap off your site because it's not correct. But overall, I do not get many spam phone calls, unless they're of course from Spectrum. Yeah, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit too. So my MagiJack number, I have not gotten too many calls, random calls, unless they're people who are actually looking for me. So, other than that, I can't really tell you much about the home phone. Now, the TV service, I'm not a fan of pay-for-TV, especially cable TV offerings, because they don't really let you pick and choose. Now, Spectrum has sent offers out to let you pick and choose a certain number of channels for a very low price. But it's still, you'd be better off going with something like YouTube TV or Sling or one of the streaming services. Now, back in the day, from I think it was 2013 to 2016, I had a Windows Media Center set up in my parents' house to where it would offer DVR service and pretty much eliminate the set-top box. But we still had to have a couple of boxes on backup because the Windows Media Center setup was just not perfect. It had bugs. And Seton Infinity TV's products, although they had a nice offering, they had some issues, and that's of course one of the reasons why I refuse to go back to using cable TV. But that's the thing about cable TV I can't stand, and this isn't really just Time Warner Spectrum. This is about anybody. Is you get these giant packages, and especially the ones that have sports programming. Heck, Time Warner Cable and Spectrum, they charge a separate sports programming surcharge. Now, I do like sports, but I don't sit around and watch football every day or basketball every day. I don't watch TV all that much. I don't care for it. And if I sign up for TV service, and this is one of the things I don't like about YouTube TV, is they offer too many sport programs. For me, anyway. It'd be nice if they would offer a package that didn't have so many ESPN-related channels on it, or just sports-related channels, because these sports channels, they charge a huge freaking fee per month. I think ESPN, matter of fact, charges $5 per subscriber per month. And that's all tacked into your monthly TV bill. And that's, again, why I don't care for pay TV. So, I can't say this from my experience, because my parents still have cable TV. It's just going up and up and up and up in price. I'll say this, back in, for example, I think 2010 or 2011, they were paying roughly $120 a month for all three services. Yeah, TV, internet, and home phone. Nowadays, they are getting standard internet, which I think is, under the current speed, I think it's 50 megabits down and 5 up. And they're getting what's equivalent to Time Warner Cable's preferred TV. They are paying $150 a month for that crap. $150. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And one of the reasons why they have not switched to YouTube TV or Sling is because my dad watches TV in his garage out back, and unfortunately can't get good Wi-Fi service out there. And eventually, one day, I don't know when, we're going to run an Ethernet cable to his garage, and then he can actually use his smart TV to access streaming services, and then we can probably say the heck with the cable TV. But yeah, Since Spectrum took over the cable TV, it's just outrageous. They refuse to work with you, and this is my next subject. Is again, I've already mentioned it. Time Warner Cable, they were very lenient. They were very easy to work with. Their customer service, although some of it was overseas, and I don't like that. Their customer service generally was willing to work with the customer, and they would always offer. For example, when I was over there paying the bill, they would always offer me the new customer package anytime the bill was scheduled to go up. As a matter of fact, they would actually send out a placard in the mail, just telling you ahead of time, hey, your service is going to go up. Please give us a call to discuss deals that are available. And Time Warner Cable, they didn't call you much. I mean, they didn't call you much to offer you stuff, and I'll say that the stuff they sent in the mail was pretty much to a minimum. But when Spectrum took over, oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. Now Spectrum, back to the customer service aspect, Spectrum's customer service has a lot left to be desired. And of course, I'm sure many of them are probably friendly when you talk to them on the phone. Some are probably not. But when you call to negotiate your bill, they're pretty much like, sorry, that's what you're paying. If you don't like it, cancel your service. Yeah, Spectrum will not budge. From all accounts I'm aware of, Spectrum will not budge at all. So they'll start you, like, for example, with the internet. I have 200 down, 20 up internet here. That's what I signed up for back in 2016 when I moved in. And back then it was Charter operating as Time Warner Cable. The Spectrum rollout hadn't quite happened as yet. Back then, the service was $44.99 per month, if I remember right. Yeah, $44 or $54.99 per month, something like that. It was a bit more than what I was paying before, but it was like, okay, whatever. Actually, I think it was $54.99 per month, if I remember right. So a year later, and of course by this point, Spectrum has taken over. October of 2017, my bill goes up $10 to $64.99 per month. And in October of 2019, it went up to $69.99 per month. So we're already a good bit up higher than what I was paying when I signed up for a service. And it's funny, I see offers all the dang time offering the 200 megabit per second service for $44.99 per month. Heck, I see Spectrum business offerings that are cheaper than what I'm paying just for internet. So that's the thing, is they start you out real low to get you signed up, and this is something that I can't stand. And I've seen people sign up for all three services because it's such a good deal. Just give it a year. That bill's gonna go sky high. And that's the thing, is when it does go up, they don't work with you. They say either you're paying this or we'll see you later. And I know people who've actually disconnected their services for a month and then they was able to sign back up as a new customer. Get that. But that's where they get you. See, internet service in today's age, you think about it. Many people, they bank online, they purchase stuff online. For some people like me, my home phone is internet based. It's near impossible to go without internet service. So that's where they get you. That's where they have you. It's like, we know you can't leave us, so here you are. You're stuck. Now, in this area, I will say this: I will choose Spectrum any day over the most hated telephone company on the face of this planet, known as AT&T. Because AT&T, they make Spectrum look fantastic. AT&T is a company that will lock you into contracts without you ever knowing, give you service that only works half the time and don't care. All they want is that month. All they want is that monthly payment every single month. And get this, in areas where AT&T was installing their fiber service, a neighbor down the road from here, they were cutting through Spectrum cable lines left and right. So everything's underground in this neighborhood. And they were cutting through Spectrum stuff left and right. They're pretty much like, it's not our service, we don't care. And I've also heard instances where customers had AT&T service installed and they completely just wrecked up the existing Spectrum cable or Time Warner cable installation, to where if they went back to Spectrum or whoever, they'd have to have it reinstalled from scratch because AT&T wrecked it up. That's the kind of company AT&T is, and honestly, I mean, I feel sorry for anybody who is stuck with them because they are a horrible company. They are seriously a terrible company. Leave it to AT&T and DirecTV to charge a family an early termination fee because their mom passed away. It was their mom's account. Yeah. The person died and they got charged early termination fee because, of course, they couldn't have the service anymore. But yeah, that's a different subject, but yeah. Spectrum, I tell you, is just, and the customer service is terrible with them. They are not willing to budge on prices. They essentially say, "This is what you're paying. If you don't like it, you can always cancel anytime." And at least they do not force a contract, because if they force an early termination fee, that would just be the icing on the cake right there with them. Now, let's move on to another subject. I did mention a little bit about earlier in this video, is Time Warner Cable. I seldom got phone calls or stuff in the mail from them. Pretty much the only thing you get in the mail from them was your monthly bill, and once in a while you might get a placard notifying you of a service change. Time Warner Cable usually would include a couple of advertisements in the envelope your bill comes in, but other than that, you didn't get much from them. When Spectrum took over, and I'm talking about when Spectrum actually took over name-wise, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. I mean, look, this is what I got in the past year or so from Spectrum. Just lots and lots of mail offers. Look at this crap. That's ridiculous. Sometimes it seems like almost every week I would get something from Spectrum. And yeah. And they always like to title stuff as, important service announcement or important service notice for residents in Huntersville, for example. And oh yeah, please respond by this date to get this service. Well, a month later they'd send out another one with the new please respond by date. And it's just, this is just a way to try to convince you to say, I better sign up for that because the deal is going to run out. Well, they send this stuff left and right. And let's see. Oh yeah. Here's another type of Spectrum offer. Savings review enclosed, or upgrade notice, or upgrade notice for you, or alert, you're paying too much for TV service. No, I'm not, because I don't have TV service. Oh, good try, Spectrum. Important information enclosed. Please reply by a certain date. Or what else? I know we got more in here. Oh my gosh! I mean, we got a huge variety of stuff in here. Important info enclosed. Upgrade notice. Yeah, guys, I've been hoarding these things because I've been planning on doing a video just like this right here. Now I know I got some more in here. Oh yeah. Notice in red, bold. Important information enclosed. Yeah, right. open upon receipt. And, oh yeah, sometimes you get ones like this. Exclusive neighborhood offer. Limited time offer. Act now. Spectrum TV Choice for $24.99 per month. I mean, it's ridiculous, guys. It's ridiculous. And, of course, we can't forget about Spectrum Mobile, which I have heard good things about Spectrum Mobile. It is Verizon-based. Oh yeah, important information enclosed. Now, I'm not going to open these today. I might save that for another video. But, I mean, there's just so many of these things here. Card inside, do not bend. Spectrum, important notification for select customers. Reply by this date. I mean, seriously, this is ridiculous. I mean, my gosh. This stuff left and right. For preferred customers, pull here to see. You're pre-approved for this select offer, or this special offer. Learn more inside. I'm telling you guys, this is ridiculous. Time Warner Cable did not send out mail offers left and right. And I guess one thing I can say is that it's good job security for the U.S. Postal Service, because, man, they send this stuff out left and right. And I think it's whether or not you're even a customer with them. So, yeah, this is just ridiculous. So, if you thought the mail offers were bad, get this. That's not the only thing I get from them. Here in recent months, another exclusive neighborhood offer. Here in recent months, I have actually gotten phone calls from Spectrum. Yeah, and sometimes the phone numbers were just local area code phone numbers, not 800 service numbers. They were just random phone numbers. Sometimes they would be titled Spectrum. Other times they would not be titled Spectrum. But sometimes I would pick up the phone and saying, "This is so and so from Spectrum. How you doing today? We're here to offer you this special TV offer." And recently I told a lady, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. I picked up the phone one time and answered it. And this is one of the times that Spectrum was not listed on the caller ID. The lady says, "I'm from Spectrum," and it's like, and starts to talk about something in regards to the TV service. And she proceeds to talk like she's signing me up for something because I answered a question, and I had to interrupt her, say, "Ma'am, I'm not interested in this service, because really, to be honest, services like YouTube TV offer you a lot more, and I would like to be removed from this call list. Please stop calling me. I would really appreciate that." Now, so far, that did put a stop to the phone calls, but I'm just saying, when it was Time Warner Cable, I didn't get phone calls left and right. I didn't get mail offers left and right. That's the thing that annoys the crap out of me about this company is, maybe that's why their bills are so high, because they have to spend all this money on this recruiting and advertising, especially the mail offers, sending all this stuff through the mail. I know adds up in cost with time. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm telling you guys, Spectrum, I tell you, day and day again, I wish that merger would have never happened. I wish it would have remained Time Warner Cable, because Time Warner Cable was a lot more lenient with offering you deals on services. They would offer existing customers a new customer rate to keep you as a customer. Not Spectrum. From what I hear, people have actually had to cancel service and then re-sign up a month later to get the new introductory rate again. And again, all these mail offers and crap. We didn't get those back then. Back in the day when it was Time Warner, didn't get phone calls left and right. The service, that's one thing I did forget to talk about, is at least my internet is reliable. It hardly ever goes out. Now, others may not have the same. They may not have the same reliability, and a lot of that boils down to the condition of the cable lines in your area, as well as your service drop at your home. My service drop is practically brand new. It was installed when I moved in this place because somebody cut the old cable line, probably AT&T for all we know. So they installed it, and I think the installation fee was like $30, which is not too bad. I can say this, although I'm ranting a lot about Spectrum, it could be worse. It could be Comcast. I've heard some really shady crap about Comcast, including how they limit your data. They put caps on your data. They also force contracts, I've heard. So yeah, Spectrum compared to some other cable companies is not that bad, but in comparison to what we had before, I can't stand it. It's ridiculous. So yeah, to wrap this up, I am not a fan of the Charter buyout of Time Warner Cable and Bright House. I can't really speak for Bright House customers because I wasn't one, but I can speak for TWC customers because I was a Time Warner Cable customer. And I can say that although the service has still been reliable, customer service and deals, what I'm paying per month, that's gone downhill. The customer service, again, they tend to refuse to work with the customer to keep you as a customer. They say it's our way or the highway. Yeah. So anyways, I think that again wraps this up. So, in case you're ever wondering what I thought of Spectrum, well, you got to hear a dose of it. And I'm not exactly pleased with it. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Well everybody, that's it for this video, but don't forget there's a lot more interesting stuff on the channel to check out. Also, if this is your first time visiting this channel, feel free to subscribe to keep your channel, and also don't forget to tick the bell so that way you'll get notified of new video posts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, but if you really didn't like it, there is the alternative option available as well. Also, feel free to check out my second channel, CubeComp MTDX. There you'll find videos about bicycling, weather, elevator tours, and all sorts of other neat, interesting stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to come back, and thank you for your support.